I think ever since I was like a kid, I've always been interested in listening to music, and I was exposed to a lot of music. Uh, my sisters, they used to kind of listen to the latest pop at that time. I think it used to be ABBA, Boney M, and a lot of they used to get these video cassettes of Top of the Pops, you know. And I remember watching it and so loved listening to music. And then when I started growing up, I started having my own collection of the music I liked. And before going to school, while ironing my school uniform or whatever, when I came back from school, when I was not studying, I think I was, or not playing outside, I was listening to music. So soaked in a lot of music. But I remember it was my 10th standard when I got my board results. The day I got my results, I think my parents expected me to like score very badly or something, because I used to hardly study or whatever. And the day I got my results, I think it was I scored a decent percentage, which I think it surprised them. So there's a friend of mine who asked me that, would you, I'm going to join a guitar class today. Do you want to join a guitar class? And I'm like, I asked my mom. She's like, whatever you want. They were like very happy. So that's when I joined a guitar class, but I think I just learned for like a month or two, just took all the chord diagrams, practiced on my own, and then I would keep making my own songs. And I still remember I had over 100 songs, but they were all English, in English. And then when I was in college, I got into a band. It was called the Big Easy. We played only 2 gigs, I think, at Raz. But it used to be fun because I used to play rhythm guitar in the band. So we used to cover like Alice in Chains, Nirvana, U2, all kinds of our own compositions. It used to be a lot of fun, but then I think I gave up, and then I was concentrating on my studies. I was in my BCom. I was getting close to my final exams. So I quit, and
you quit music?
I quit music, as in I was still listening to music and playing guitar at home, like for fun,
but not
I never
seriously
thought of it as a career. And I passed out from college, and as anybody who passes out of commerce thinks of either doing CA or MBA, I thought I'll do an MBA. Only to realize that I don't think I had the aptitude for that, because I was very bad with math and logic. So something that was a prerequisite. So I suffered quite a lot, and then I said, hell with this, I'm going to like do something in computers, do something in software, do something related to the internet, because that time the .com thing had just started. There were like these venture capitalists like pouring in money, and anybody who had an idea and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, maybe I'll have that idea and I want to do that. So I joined an institute, I think an IIT, and did a few SEMs, and I got a computer at home. And it was then that a friend of mine, he came and installed a few softwares in which you could tinker around and make music. And I found that I was spending more time tinkering around with the software trying to make music than coding and learning my C and C++ and all that. So I think I realized that this is something that I want to do. And at that time I already finished my course and I was looking for a job, and at that time I got an offer for a radio channel. Like at that time radio was just coming in. So there was this RJ who had done some shows for him on my computer, and he thought that I did a good job. So he said that, would you be interested in joining me, but you would have to learn the mixer, and do you know how to use it? I said, yeah, but I didn't know head or tail of how a mixer works, what are the controls on the mixer. So then I decided to call a friend of mine who was an engineer in a studio. I kind of assisted him for a while, and then I decided I want to like take this up formally. I think I want to like do music. A career in music would interest me. So I went to Chennai, and I did like a course out there in audio engineering. And that's where doing those assignments in the college, I used to always end up making my own songs, my own original compositions. I don't think I did any covers of any other artist for any of my assignments, and also kind of helped others make songs for other people's assignments. And that's when I realized that I think I like making music. I want to like make music, and finished the course, came back, worked in a studio for a bit, only to realize that studio also didn't like, working as an engineer was also not interesting me enough. I wanted to make my own music, and that's when I decided that I'm going to get into making music. And not having learned any instrument or having any formal training in music, I just decided to follow my heart and my intuition, and that's how the journey began.
So once you kind of decided that this is what I want to do, finally, after so many switches, which happens to a lot of people, to many of them for most of their lives, but at least you were lucky in a way to take a final decision in your career. How did it then begin in terms of?
I think then I was kind of clueless for a bit, where I didn't know how to start. At that time, I remember remixes were a big thing.
They still are.
Yeah, they still are, but it was just the beginning where everybody was like, everything was being remixed.
Which year are we talking about?
We're talking about 2002. So I had no knowledge of how to program a song or I knew softwares, but how to put in parts, how to play parts, nothing. I had no
composing
background.
Is what you
I could compose a song because I could sing and I could play it on the guitar, so coming up with a melody was not a problem, but then putting it into like making a song with a complete arrangement was something that I'd never done before. And I remember having met a music producer, composer from Amritsar, Daljit Singh. He's also known as Mintu Ji, so I call him Mintu Ji. So he kind of heard some of my experiments, and he thought probably, he said, if I send you something, would you be interested in arranging a song for me? I said, yeah, why not? And I remember he sent me 4 songs by courier, and I got the CD and I started kind of arranging it. And I think I would call him my mentor, because he was very patient with me. I did my first few songs and I sent it to him, and I know that they were like iffy, and that there was some stuff that then he kind of did on his own, and then he would tell me, see, this is how you could make the music, in between music interludes, and probably how to build an intro and stuff like that. And I'd never completed a song, so that got me into a practice of completing an arrangement, start to finish. So that was good training grounds for me.
There's one of these songs that I found very catchy called A Hip Hopper to Pyar To Kar. And I've heard that you had something to do with this song. Can you please tell us?
Yeah, around the time that I was doing Allah Ke Bande, and before that, I met Ishq Bector, and he was doing an album for Times, and he wanted, it was a remix album, but he wanted 2 songs which were supposed to be originals. So I remember he met me and he's like, can you do them for me? And I was like, yeah, why not? But they had to be hip hop, and I used to hate hip hop until then. And I said, I asked him that you need to give me hip hop music, because I don't know what hip hop is all about. So I remember taking around 4 GB of hip hop songs from him, and then I would constantly on my iPod, day in, day out, keep listening to it, getting into a rickshaw, getting out, whatever there is, that traveling, walking on the road, I was just listening to hip hop music, and I started kind of understanding what the culture is, and what kind of instruments, what kind of beats, what kind of just how it becomes a hip hop song. And then Ishq and me hit off really well, and then he kept working off and on, and then he was working on another album, and he's like, whatever, let's do something. So that's when he came up with a reference of a song, and we ended up coming up. I told him that when I heard the song, I told him that I get this feeling when I hear the song that a boyfriend is standing on the road and the girlfriend is in the gallery, and the girlfriend's dad is not letting her come down, and he's like screaming to her, something like, hey, something like that, like, why are you doing this or whatever. And that's how Daku Daddy came about, And if you hear the concept of Daku Daddy, and we worked on Daku Daddy, and it has like, hey, kyun kiya mere pyar ko kaidi, goli maru tujhe Daku Daddy. And if you are behind, Abbe! Like, there's all stuff which is my voice, and we were just having fun, we were just having party. It was like a party. Every time working on Ishq song was like a party. And that happened, and then there's this another music director, very close friend of mine, Hanif, and he had this idea that a hip hopper, mujhe pyar to kar, a hip hopper, like it was his concept of a hip hop ballad between a kamwali or whatever you call it, help at home, and the guy of the house, the man of the house, and so Ishq really liked it, and he asked him could he use it, and Hanif said yeah, you can use it, and that's how. And Ishq came to me to program the song, to arrange the track and stuff. So I kind of programmed that bit, the hook and all, and then what else? What happens next in the melody? Because we just had a hip hopper, mujhe pyar to kar, a hip hopper, na 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 na. I think that also was not there. Na na na. Oh, that was there. Na 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 na. A hip hopper. And then I'm like, okay, that's done. Now what else? So we're trying to get in touch with Hanif, and can't get in touch with him. And then he said, why don't you just make the rest of the song? Okay, and then I compose the rest of the song. Kya tu bak rahi hai, aise lag rahe, all those parts, and then Ishq knew Sunli, so then he decided that we should get her to sing the song. I was like, yeah, why not? And I still remember the recording, and next thing we know, it's like it took a while to come out. Actually, it was done, and then it took around 6 months or something for it to come out. And when it came out, it became like rage. Like everybody was talking about it. And it was like an underground hit, though it did not get as much airplay as we thought it should have. But I think everybody knows of that song somehow. So I mean, that's how that song happened. And not many people know that I've programmed that song, and I've produced the song, and I have composed most of the song except the hook, which was definitely Hanif's. So yeah, that's the story of a hip hopper. Farooq Kabir, who directed and also acted in Allah Ke Bande, he approached a friend of mine to do a song for his sister, Soniye Dil Nahi Lagda, which was a Pakistani song. They wanted to do it here, and they wanted a very dance kind of a thing, arrangement to it. So this friend of mine and me, we worked on it, and that was like, I would say, my first big project where I got paid big money compared to what I was being paid, and it was a nice exposure because we did the song, recorded with Zubin, and recorded with few live artists and stuff like that. So that was a big step for me. And after that, that was somewhere, I think, in 2006 end or something. And around that time, I'd done an ad for this ad filmmaker called Saurabh Kabra, and he was then looking for producers for a script he had, and he asked a friend of mine. He's like, I want to carry songs with my script, along with my script, so do you know anybody? And my friend suggested my name. He's like, go meet Chirantan. And I remember he came and met, and till that time I would never ever hand over my songs to anybody. I would probably go and play it to somebody and come back, never give it, because I was scared that what if it gets stolen or somebody copies it or something like that. But he kind of gave me a gist of the script, and he told me some situations, and I had some songs, and I don't know what got into me, but I just gave him the CD. I said, "Here, you go." And next thing I know, a week after that, I was signing my contract for EMI, which had Sanjay Dutt and Arjun Rampal, and this was a big film for me at least, and that's how it started. I mean, I don't know how it happened. It was just like in an instant. Like, I'm just working on scratches. Next thing I know is like I'm doing this film without any prior experience. But I learned a lot on that film, and that's how the ball started rolling. So this is like one of the songs from Haunted, one of my favorite songs, and Vikram's most favorite song of Haunted, and we used to have a lot of arguments on that because my favorite used to be You're So Beautiful, but this is Jania, and I love Siddharth's voice on this. The unmixed version.
दिल सुनता है तेरी सदा रूबरू अब तो जरा बेचैन सी मेरी जिंदगी सुनकर तेरी जीना मेरा आसान कर तू मिलके एहसान कर कहीं खो गया चैन सुकून तेरे दर्द को अब जान कर
Pain in Siddharth's voice. I mean, very similar to. I think when I first heard him, I thought it was very similar to Mohit Chauhan's voice, you know. And
speaking of Mohit Chauhan, can you strum us a song of his that you made for EMI?
Yeah. There's a little story to this thing. This is again around early 2007 or something, and Mohit had just sung I think one song in Rang De Basanti, Khoon Chala, and when I was getting the song programmed, I was kind of looking for a voice, and the person who was programming, I think, was then working on the Jab We Met song, and he was saying, "Why don't you try Mohit Chauhan?" And I was like, Mohit Chauhan, he's like Duba Silk Route. I'm like, yeah, of course. I said, yeah, why not? Because I really liked his voice. And so I called Mohit, and he came, and I remember we started recording around 5 in the evening, and
at the studio.
At the studio till around 8, and then the director came and he heard it, and he's like, you know, it's good, but it sounds like it's not kind of got that thing, that spontaneity to it. It's been sung like properly. It's sounding great, but it's been sung and it's been like rehearsed, and it's giving a very planned kind of feel to it. It's like, why don't we just, now that you know the song, he told Mohit, why not, you know, whatever. So we decided that we all should get into better spirits, like, you know, whatever. And so we kind of had a few drinks and stuff like that, and then told Mohit that listen, you're going to sing this song start to finish. in one shot, and no stopping and dubbing or whatever. And he was like up for it, and he sang it. He sang it better than he sang earlier. At least I would not say better, but I would say that it was straight from his heart. He was not thinking. I was supposed to do this music piece in the first music, but he just ended up whistling, and I ended up keeping that, and I didn't put anything else. In fact, I removed a lot of instruments from the arrangement because we wanted a very live band playing kind of a feel. So if you hear the song, it's like one take of Mohit Chauhan. He sung it in one take, and he's done a fabulous job on that.
Sure.
Okay. So Aankhon Hi Aankhon Mein, I hope I remember the lyrics.
Just hum the tune.
बैठे रहे ख्यालों में यूं ही, उलझे रहे सवालों में यूं